Morning. Oh, look, I couldn't. Oh, sorry. Good afternoon. I couldn't wait until I get home. I'm stuck in my car anyway. Um, I just wanted to address this thing. The story comes up every now and again about the police chiefs, and I just have to correct it because it really just annoys me every time. It is not new that the policemen are allowed to put their hands down your pants. It's not new. They've been allowed to do that since 2012 when a man took the police to court. There have been other cases before that where the men had tried to use sex discrimination. But it's a Gender Recognition Act problem. And the problem the Gender Recognition Act actually made was that you couldn't. Then it got sort of solidified in the Equality Act, but you can't discriminate against these men, and you can't ask them if they've got a certificate, and you can't discriminate against them when they have, and they're litigious. And you've got diversity, equity, and inclusion officers in nearly every force. In fact, you've probably got more than just one in a force, and they spend a lot of money, and you might find pride flags outside of your police force or rainbow lanyards, etc., etc., etc. So let me just dispel this lie. It is not the National Chief of Police or police chiefs. It's not them that have made this policy. It's not. I don't even know whether or not they can overrule any policy. I think they're just a group of people that share a job title. So that's one thing. Number two, since 2012, and that was made, nobody wanted to take ownership of forcing women to be subjected to men putting their hands in their pants and strip searching them, right? Nobody wanted to be responsible for that. No one in government wanted to say that they shouldn't do it, and nobody in sort of who heads up the police forces. What they said to all police chiefs is, it's up to you, chief constables, it's up to you. You make the decision, you make the policy. And not one of them in the entire country has decided that women have the right not to be searched by men. Not one of them. Now, these in police, right, what you have to remember is A, they're quite gutless, certainly when they get to the level of really good pension. Right, so when they've got to that level, often in order to get to that level, you've got to play politics in the police force. You don't very often get chief of police that haven't, on bended knee, kissed some arses, right? Because that's what you have to do in the police force. You have to kiss some political arses. You have to kiss arses in the police force. You have to, generally speaking, be a suck up, and then you can get to chief of police. Now, when you get there, you're then guaranteed not only like quite a nice cushy retirement age, but you're also guaranteed a really nice fat pension. And so nobody wants to risk that. So instead what they do is they subject women to things. They look at the direction of travel for their police force. What they're really looking at is good crime statistics. And what that means is not even investigating a burglary, because if you don't start an investigation, then maybe you're not penalised for not actually resolving the issue. So I recently have been a victim of crime for a substantial amount of time, for over 6 years. And when I reported it and when I got my letter, do you know what I got? I got an occurrence number, not a crime reference number. I got an occurrence reference number. Bearing in mind, there are records in police records. There are records about me committing non-crime hate incidents, right? There are records about me. And yet the person I've just reported, in fact, I've reported them back in 2022 and again recently, it's an occurrence number. So has he got a crime reference number? No, I've got an occurrence reference number. Now, I'm beginning to wonder, and perhaps the Metropolitan Police or Wiltshire Police can tell me, is this little twat that I've recently reported, is he the son of a police officer? Or is he related? Is there something going on where he's well connected? Because it doesn't really make any sense. The sort of scrutiny he doesn't seem to conjure. Anyway, but let me get back to this. Since 2012, the police have been allowed to search you. It's not revived. It's not new. It's not revived. It's not up to the national police chiefs. I don't know where this bullshit has come from, but it keeps being repeated and it's not true. The national police chiefs, I don't know what power they have over each individual force, because the reason the police can get away with being utterly shit is that they're not at all networked and united. Things kind of stop at the police lines, which is why you've got county lines crime. So you have to understand how the police works, and I'm pretty sure that some people who keep commenting on this do understand, and yet still sort of do this thing where it's lies. It doesn't make sense. Each individual police force decides whether or not policemen who call themselves women are allowed to put their hands down the pants of women. And each chief constable, therefore, is liable to have like their record besmirched if they are accused of kind of discrimination. So I would imagine, I don't know this just makes sense to me. If a bloke in a dress, of which there are many in the police force, make of that what you will. I think they're all raging AGP perverts who really want unfettered access to women, particularly women that can't really be trusted, like women guilty of crimes. Now, other police want to do this, other policemen want to do this, but these special men like to do it in a dress, right? So for extra kind of fuck you privilege. So if a chief constable or anybody below makes a fuss and says that these men aren't allowed to do that, and then the police are taken to court, the fucking police will definitely allow that individual to bear the burden of all of it. And then they lose their pension. So this is not tricky. It's not new. It's not revived. None of those things. It is a policy that's been happening for well over 10 years. It's not new. If you want to know about how many police forces do it, Standing for Women, which is now Let Women Speak, we did some research. Back in 2020, we started this research, and we found out that not a single police force in the country differentiates between a female officer, a man pretending to be a woman, or a man pretending to be a woman with a GRC. So that's the truth of it. This spin stuff, I don't really understand where it's coming from or who benefits, but nobody benefits as far as I'm concerned if we lie. And this just all feels like a bit of an exaggeration and a lie. And I don't like it very much. So I hope that clears it up.